Hey,
Hello.
here we are.
Question you're asking about the questions, Matthew.
Technical difficulties and all.
I know. I tell you what, it has been such a challenge, and anyone who uses Facebook, which would be anyone who is here, would know that it has been a huge challenge over the last couple of months for us, especially if you're live streaming on Facebook. So we want to make your experience as nice as possible. So I'm just going to check as pleasant as possible. Matthew tells me there's an echo and I can't seem to find out where it is. So I'm just going to check on my mobile and then we will, then if it's all things being equal, I will do the housekeeping and then I'll bugger off like I normally do.
All right.
Okay, so I can see here on Facebook. So we want to make your experience as nice as possible. So I'm just going to check as pleasant as possible. Matthew tells me it's a bit
Donna,
it is
Daniel.
echoey, isn't it? Oh dear. All right. So I'll just. Hey guys, it's good to see you here.
Hey.
Matthew, you ought to see anyway. Guys, welcome. I really will shoot through this very fast. The housekeeping. As usual, please remember to make sure everybody you know and love sees this broadcast. And by that, I mean the little button that goes that way with the arrow on it. And please have your questions ready. Matthew will ask you this as well, but last week was fantastic. We've written up the questions and putting them into a blog, so that's absolutely amazing. And when that comes out, it's going to blow your mind. And the rest of these questions are, I think there were so many questions. I've got a list. All right. Also, we are cross-posted to two pages at the moment. We're on mytimetv.live live, and we're also on Matthew Greenwood Spiritual Journeys page live. So if you make a comment from either of those places, I'll see them in the back end, and Matthew will see them in the back end or the dashboard of Be Live, and we'll be able to he'll be able to respond to it. If you are anywhere else on Facebook or you might be in the group, you might be anywhere else, and you see this and you make a comment, we won't see it and Matthew won't be able to respond. So please pop over to Matthew Greenwood Spiritual Journeys and join us live. And bring your friends. Let's have a party here on this Thursday night. The other thing is, if you're on this page and you make a comment, you will get a message that pops into your inbox on Messenger. And that message says, because you made a comment, you will have registered for you can register for a spirit guide reading with Matthew. Hang on, let me rephrase that. You can register for a chance to win a spirit guide reading with Matthew, and spirit guide. The winner from each week is drawn from the following week. Is drawn each week by Matthew around about this time. The other thing I wanted to say before he announces last week's winner or this week's winner is that when you get the message, if you don't want to enter or register, you don't have to do anything. But if you do, please follow the bouncy ball and complete your registration. Then you will go into the draw for a chance to win. If you have already registered, you don't need to do anything. If you've already given us your email address, you will just get a message saying hi and thanks for joining us. Stay tuned. Okay, I think that's about it for me.
Cool. Thanks, Adair.
And the winner is
Janine Thomas. So, hey, Janine, we will be getting in contact with you. And if you would like a half-hour spirit guide reading with me, then let's make an appointment. So hope to hear from you soon after we've sent you a message. And tonight is part 2 of what's going on out there that I can share with you around galactic beings, and also really important to send in some questions, because last week was amazing with all the questions you guys were sending in. It was fantastic. And this is what really makes an event, is your input. It's not just about me saying a whole lot of stuff that I know but sometimes with questions, there's information that comes up that I just don't even think about. I don't even think maybe people would be interested in. So with questions, it just brings up a whole nother level of information and of really interesting conversation. So please send in questions. And I'm just going to say a quick hello to a few people. G'day Donna, Daniel Marsh, Emma, good to see you on board again. Clay Robertson, Jessica, Carol, Trudy, Ros Boundy, Christina, Janet Denning, and Janelle Van Kalken. Good to see you guys here. So we're going to do a quick little grounding exercise, the one that is on the Facebook site that you can get hold of yourself. And this is just an exercise that I give out each week that I just share with everyone. This is what's going to help to keep your energy stable and nice and clear, keeps a nice clear head too, clear thoughts. G'day Dale, how are you? Good to see you on board too. Yeah, so the grounding exercise, with all of the stuff that we're being hit with, left, right, and center, that I know that this grounding exercise works if you stick with it, but you have to commit to it. Unfortunately, there's no green tablet or red tablet that's going to make it happen like magic. You have to actually put some energy into and a commitment to working with your energy through this stuff, because this is what will help you to be stronger. So here we go. So if you get yourselves nice and comfortable, and it's only going to take a few minutes. So here we go. Nice deep breaths. And if you can, make those breaths nice and full, both the breath in and the breath out. So with that breath in, know that what you're also doing, besides breathing air, you're literally drawing in life force. And life force is a commodity we can't do without. And just remember something, if we're not getting life force through meditation or yoga practices or martial arts or something like that, going for walks in the forest, being good to other people, all of that, if you're not getting life force in a healthy way, then the only other way is to take it from people, and that's something we don't want to do. Okay. So now that those deep breaths are working and starting to pull in life force, now with the next deep breath in, take a nice full one in, and then with the breath out, with a push out with that breath, push that energy you've just breathed in down through your body, your base chakra, your legs, your feet, and down into the earth. And just for a few breaths, at least half a dozen, you should be able to get a connection with the earth after half a dozen breaths. And what you should feel is something like a tingling in your feet. Definitely isn't your feet falling asleep on you. It's literally energy that you're picking up on. And so once you start to feel that energy flowing through, now we can go deeper. So we have a multitude of chakras below our feet, but we're going to aim for the deepest one, which is our earth chakra. And it is right down at the base, at the core of the earth. Joe is asking, do we want our feet flat on the floor? You can have your legs cross-legged. Just remember, it's not about just your physical body. It's about your aura being grounded. Physical body is only part of that. So it's really the process of moving that energy down. But feet flat on the floor can help if it works for you. You can also be 35,000 feet up in an aeroplane, and you can still ground your energy. Okay, so nice deep breath in, pulling that life force in, and then going right down to that earth chakra. And just for a few breaths again, just keep that flow of energy happening between your breath and that earth chakra. Remembering what this earth chakra is about. It's your deepest connection with the earth. It brings in a communication with the earth. And I could talk for ages about this chakra because it actually links us all together on a spiritual level, deep down in the earth. All of those people that are actually walking their talk, that are actually opening up and connecting with their chakra system, that are living what they believe they should be doing spiritually, and those that are heart connected doing that. So now that you have that connection with that earth chakra, which generally pans out to feel like a bit of an overall feeling of groundedness, a bit of a tingling all around you. Joe's asking another question. How far down are we imagining the earth chakra? That earth chakra, Joe, is right at the core of the earth. This is how vast our energy system is. Don't think it's only 3 to 4 meters out from us. It's massive. All right, so now that you've got that earth chakra connection, the next level of energy we're going to connect with is your core star energy. So we've talked about this one before. This is the God force energy, that highest vibrational energy, and it is within us as well as outside of us. It's in everything. But if you imagine diving your awareness to start with into the center of your physical body, as you dive into the center of your physical with your awareness, knowing that your energy system is incredibly vast and it has more than just 3-dimensional depth, it has 4th, 5th, 6th-dimensional depth. So it goes massively inside, just like the TARDIS in Doctor Who. If ever anyone's, I can't imagine anyone doesn't know about Doctor Who and the TARDIS, but imagine that police box, that police phone box, how the size it is on the outside, but inside it's huge. That's what we are. So keep diving deeper and deeper into the center of your energy system, deep inside you, until you see or feel a light or a high vibrational energy. And once you feel that or connect with it or see it, it may be just a feeling, and that's okay. So once you've got it, what I want you to do is start to expand it out from deep within your core. As you expand that light out, imagine it filling your physical body. And as it fills your physical body with light, imagine that light touching every cell in your body. And then imagine every cell beginning to vibrate at a high frequency, because that's literally what happens. So now that you've filled your body with light and all of your energy system within your body, now begin to expand it out into the human aspect of the energy system, which is about 3 to 4 meters out. As you fill that space with light, just keep filling it so that you're actually filling that space under pressure, kind of like when you blow up a balloon with air. Just keep pouring that light into that 3 to 4 meter space all around you. And then what we're going to do is explode that light out in all directions on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Just let it go limitlessly. It's only our mind that puts limitations on who we are and what we are capable of. So no boundaries, no limitations. Just let it expand out as far as you possibly can. Very cool. So this light, what it will do, the more you tap into that, it will raise your frequency and it will help to keep negative energy away from you. So other people's negative thoughts, any energy projected to you or at you. And if you stay nice and grounded, you keep your energy system nice and clean. And your foundation stays strong. So if anyone wants to ask me questions about that at a later stage, I'm happy to answer that one, because very soon we'll do another evening around our energy system. But we do have a workshop coming up very soon. If anyone's interested in getting involved in that, we've already got a few people involved in it. It's an 8-week course, and it's all about the energy system. So the details are actually on the Facebook site. I won't go too much into that now. But we're going to talk about galactic beings now. So that's quite all right, Amy. Pleasure to share this with you. And okay. So now, I'm trying to remember where we got to, because I ended up answering a whole heap of questions at the last part of last week. I think I was answering questions for about an hour. But anyway, like I said, any questions you have on this subject that we're getting into now, I'm happy to answer them, because I will stop at about halfway through, which is around about, say, 22. Here we go. So what's been going on? I shared a bit about what I've been experiencing with different galactic beings. I've talked about how there's been an energetic barrier that has been up around our solar system, and it's been to keep certain beings out and certain beings in. Now, the beings that they've been keeping out has been at our detriment, because there's been a lot of negative, it's not all negative, but there has been a high degree of negative control on this planet and in our solar system. So it's one of those things that what has brought that barrier down now is this raising in frequency that's been going on for the last 12 years or so. Our conversation here, if you can see that Adair, guy talking about cryptocurrency, let's get rid of him. So what's been happening is...
Sorry to interrupt, Matthew, I can. I'm just going to head over there from the dashboard and I will sort it out immediately. Thanks.
That's all right. Thanks, Adair. Where were we? Yes, so what's been happening, this barrier has come down, and what it's done, it's allowed certain beings in that they actually patrol the universe, and their role is to oversee all of the interactions between different species. And I've physically seen one of these beings, but I was also approached by one on an energetic level. And ever since that happened, the amount of let's say negative galactic attack, a psychic attack, which has been quite thick and fast, is basically non-existent now. Now, the other thing that's going on is this has also allowed softer beings in, which I'm starting to experience, because when I do readings for people, or when I connect with people, when people come to see me, there's generally at least one or two galactic beings with spiritually minded people that come to see me. So the amount of interest now in galactic beings is going through the roof. Also, spiritual growth is going through the roof, but the amount of interest in what's going on outside of our planet is huge now. So maybe I'll start off tonight with why there is at least one or two galactic beings with most people. Sometimes there's more, but mostly there's one or two. So what's been happening with this raising in frequency is there's been a lot of dormant DNA that human beings have been carrying for thousands, millions of years, which is now becoming, not all of it, but bit by bit, it's starting to become active. Now, the reason it's becoming active is because of this high frequency that's coming in now, which is, it's just a continuing cycle of growth that's happening across the planet energetically. It's doing lots of pretty good things. It's allowing our abilities to raise. It's literally beginning to break down a lot of these controlling and manipulative systems on the planet. Why is it doing that? Is because anything that's controlling and manipulative is low vibration. And what that does, those systems are there to keep us running around in circles like little mice on a track, just going round and round, stressed out, physical bodies feeling fatigued, mental, emotional, feeling fatigued, and spiritually pretty much shut down for most people. But while this raising in frequency is happening, then what's going on is it's opening people up, and it's pulling these systems down that have been here for a long time, controlling humans. And this is part of the negative ET agenda that's falling apart as well. And so there's, as much as there's a bit of chaos on the planet, there's also huge growth going on the planet. Now, part of the ET agenda, or the galactic agenda now, is to allow more vision of them being here. So I think I shared last week, you know, half an hour looking out at a clear sky at night, there's far more visible evidence of strange things going on out there. I mean, several times I've seen what appears like a shooting star shooting across the sky, and then it just stops. Still see the light, it stops, and then 3 lights will come out of that. And it's like they're putting on a show for us. And this is part of the beginning of galactic beings interacting with us physically. Great, some questions. So let's see what we've got here. Just find my little computer mouse. There we go. Christine has asked, the way I have understood it was there is a universal law that they could only start interacting when we reach a certain level of consciousness. That's exactly right. So what this higher frequency is doing, this gradual climb in our environmental energy, that has a knock-on effect to our consciousness and to all of human consciousness. And look, let's look at human consciousness for just a minute. What's been going on is we have mass human consciousness. Then we have the consciousness of humans that are on a spiritual path and who are growing and engaging with spiritual growth, which is bringing their frequency up even further. But what happens with that, because spiritual growth is on such a peak now and will continue to get stronger, it's actually helping to pull the balance of human consciousness up with it. So this point of growth is just going ballistic now, which is fantastic to see. And this is affecting all of us. Unfortunately, there is a bit of fallout for some people. So it's unfortunate, the system, and I'm seeing this with some of the people that are coming to see me. Not many, but there are a few that are having a lot of trouble with what's going on. So people that, let's say, haven't had a lot of strong support around them when they were young, and they then end up getting directed to psychiatrists because they're hearing voices or they're seeing auras or energy or ghosts or beings. Psychiatrists, majority of psychiatrists don't understand this stuff, so they put them on some sort of pharmaceutical drug, thinking that they're helping these people, when in fact, what is commonplace now, anyone that's been on pharmaceutical drugs for I'd say 5 years or so, persistently, it actually starts to create mental illness just being on those drugs. I've got to say, we're going to look back at this one day in the not too distant future and think, what the hell were we doing to people? But anyway, what I find is the majority of people that are on pharmaceutical drugs or that are in institutions are just sensitive people who have been misdiagnosed. And this is the sadness of everything. So those people are really being heavily impacted too by this raising in frequency. So generally what's happening is we're seeing more people with mental illness. Mental illness is going through the roof. Suicides are going through the roof. And things like people exploding, just doing strange stuff out there, road rage and all of that kind of thing. The imploding is the mental illness. So unfortunately that is happening, and it's a bit difficult to do anything for those people. We can help to a degree, but the hovering between what the actual issue is for them, them not being in touch with their sensitivity and the effects of the drugs is very difficult to work through. But it certainly can happen. Question from Daniel. Matthew, there have been a few strange things happening around the house, like the garage roller door being found unlocked after I've locked it, lights being found on after being turned off. My question is, will they find different ways to communicate with us? I don't feel any negative energies in or around the house. I haven't been attacked for a while, but feel they are letting me know they are around. Most definitely, Dan. This sort of thing is going on more and more. I'm hearing noises. I'm hearing footsteps because I know it's not ghosts. Because they can mask their energy. This being I saw out in the forest, as soon as he heard me, because I kind of snuck up on him unknowingly, as soon as I stepped on a twig and he heard me behind him, I was probably about 50 to 60 meters behind him, he just disappeared. It just went, just completely disappeared. But I know he was still there physically. But they have technology that they can mask their energy with. And plus there are other beings that don't need technology. They can just do this. They're basically classified as interdimensional beings. who they can move in and out of phase of our timeline and just be of like just a fraction of a second not in sync with us, and they can still see us and observe us, but we can't see them. So I hope that answers your question. But yes, there's definitely a lot of unusual stuff happening at the moment. And also, besides that, things that are also going on is, I mean, we're having, Adair and I are having a lot of trouble with computers and with technology at the moment. And some of it is just some of the, I don't know what the right term is, but some of the platforms not talking to each other out there. But also, when you think of technology, our technology is created when the physics of the planet are in a certain way. But what's happening with this raising of frequency, what goes on then is suddenly the technology isn't quite in sync with the physics of the day now, as it was maybe 5 years ago. Things are changing that rapidly. So computers are needing to be upgraded or updated a lot quicker. It's why phones seem to only last for a while, and then we have to go and buy new ones. It could be a marketing ploy too, just to get more of our money, but actually technology isn't keeping up with the energetic changes that are going on. Janet Denning, do you think a galactic being will appear to you in a form you are comfortable with, like maybe what you have seen in TV, etc., so that you aren't alarmed? Or will they show up in their full glory? Well, good question. I know that some beings are capable of shape-shifting or of changing the way they look. But mostly what's happening is, I doubt, hard to say, but I doubt in the near future we're going to be seeing galactic beings en masse. What's going to be happening is people that are more open, more sensitive, I've been assured this is going to happen, that they're going to start seeing different galactic beings when they're ready. And look, galactic beings have the ability to read our energy much easier than we can, and they can tell just by looking at the colors in our energy whether we're capable of seeing them, whether we're able to, whether we're too much in fear to. So they're not going to outwardly want to put us in fear. They want to work with us in the best way possible, because there's a huge agenda for us to be breaking out of this control and manipulation we're on this planet, and so they want to be doing it in the best way possible for us and for them, because basically they're our family as well. You know, we share similar DNA to them, or same DNA to many of them. And I was going to say before the questions started coming in, that DNA that we carry that's waking up is directly related to many different races out there, because that's our beginnings. So as certain DNA becomes active within our physiology, certain whatever galactic beings that are related to that DNA that's waking up in us, generally they seem to want to be hanging around us just to make sure that we're going okay with those changes that are happening. Because our physiology the physical body is kind of the slowest part of us to get on board with spiritual change. But there's more than just spiritual change going on. There's literally physical change that's happening as well. And our bodies are taking a little bit of adjusting for this to happen. Our glands have been doing a great job of allowing this DNA to integrate, but the physical body has sure been showing certain things that feel like it's out of balance. And I've talked to doctors and nurses and other people that have this ability to see, and they've all said the same thing. There's many different tests that people are going for through their doctors, and all the tests are coming back normal. And really, what those tests are just showing us is that the glands within our body are doing their best to support this integration that's going on of this new DNA. It's getting easier and easier as this change continues to happen, which it will. It will continue to happen. We've got another 80 some odd years of this raising in frequency to keep going, and so that's going to be doing amazing things to our abilities and to what we're capable of seeing, hearing, feeling, and experiencing. So I'm all for it. So Juliet is asking, could this have something to do with a dream I had being on a ship above Earth celebrating? To be honest, you could have actually been on that ship, because what's happening a lot more these days is there are many people on the planet that are being observed probably more specifically than others, because these beings that are watching over us are really wanting us to, those of us that are capable of helping humanity, to really get in there and do the best we possibly can with that. So they're keeping a check-in on us, and certain people every now and then are basically getting a checkup. So that you might wake up one morning or have a dream about an experience like that, and you know that next morning you might wake up a bit ungrounded. I know I woke up that way quite a number of years ago once, and I didn't. And I'm a pretty grounded sort of person, but what I noticed, it took about 3 hours or so for me to actually feel stable, which was really weird for me. But what I went and had a shower, and I looked on the inside of my forearm, and there was the evidence of a perfect triangular, so 3 injection sites in a perfect triangle. And this has something to do with the tests that they do just to check in to see how we're going. And because I've met other people that have had exactly the same thing. This actually is starting to become commonplace. So many of us have been taken, our memories have been wiped just of that period of time that we've been away. But yeah, we're literally being taken at times. Sometimes there are certain beings that will observe us in our sleep, and you can have dreams about that too, because as we become more aware, as our vibrations become higher, we're actually capable of remembering more, which is pretty cool. So Dare's asking, Daniel, twice in the last 3 days the toilet door has locked itself from the inside. That's going to make you sit up and notice, so to speak. Troy's saying, sad to suppress such a gift. Not quite sure what you meant by that. Troy, if you could come back with a bit of a more information on that question, that'd be great. So they're saying, Daniel, twice in the last 3 days the toilet door has locked itself. I've lived here for over a year, and apart from the bathroom door doing that once months ago, that's never happened. Yeah, look, just get used to strange things happening, because what they're wanting us to do is to be more inquisitive, to ask questions, to look up, look at different things, take note of when you're hearing sounds, inspect it, be a bit of a detective. You'll be surprised what you find. So Will is asking, pharmaceuticals are like carpet bombing the mind. We'll look back on it and in the not too distant future the same way with new psychosurgery. Yeah, look, it's disgusting what pharmaceutical drugs do. it's because they're not open enough to see the spiritual aspect of us and how our sensitivity actually affects every part of us. Adair's asking about Mount Crawford Tiki tour. Yes, we're going to do this. And Adair, can you please give me those dates that it needs to be in between again? Because I was going to announce it today. I just didn't get around to it. So if you can just send me back a message with those dates.
Okay, I can tell you the 15th and the 31st of October.
15th and 31st.
Between the 15th and the 31st.
Let's look at my diary of October.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
That's okay. All right. We have a date. Sunday, the 25th of October. All right. So on Sunday, the 25th of October, Adair wants me to run a Kontiki tour into Mount Crawford Forest to show you a few things about galactic beings, and there's some portals out there that I would like to show you. So what I need you guys to do, if you want to come along to that, you need to call me first, because I'm not going to take 50 people out there. There will be limited numbers. So you need to contact me on 0410 658 797. If you would like to be part of a little walk into Mount Crawford Forest, and I can tell you a little bit about galactic beings out there. And we can actually have a look at, let you feel the energy of some portholes. Okay. On you, Jessica. Yes, let's do it. No pressure, Matthew. No, I wanted to do it. I was actually out there today, and I was thinking about it. So Clay's asking, do you feel that parallel versions of ourselves as galactic beings are able to visit Earth and possibly our own self? Well, look, how I see it is our soul has many experiences. Our soul splits into different realities, different time zones to experience life. Now, why can't we be sharing the same soul energy with a galactic being? We're already sharing DNA with a galactic being, with many galactic beings, so why can't we share our soul energy with a galactic being? If that's the case, then we are linked through soul energy with many beings. And in that, and one big thing that's happening now as the frequency on the planet raises, is that the ability to transverse parallel realities and all different types of realities, interdimensional realities, is becoming easier and easier. So this is making it incredibly exciting for what we're capable of doing. I'm already able to follow certain extraterrestrial beings after I've connected with them, because once you can feel their energy signature, you can actually follow them and just link with them. And believe me, this is surprising people. This is surprising these beings. They were never going to expect us to be able to do that kind of stuff, and some of us can, and it's just going to get easier and easier. So what's happening, we're actually surprising the pants off many galactic beings at the moment because of the speed at which we're growing, both, well, physically, mentally, particularly mentally, because it's our mental faculties that are actually part of what's helping us to be capable of moving through dimensional space. And we're capable of doing that now. It's just knowing how to, that's all. So thanks for that question, Clay. Rodney Adolf, thanks. This is a further confirmation of what I'm being shown. Good on you, Rodney. I know it's great to get confirmation, isn't it? Because you think sometimes you're the only one thinking these wacky thoughts. So Joe's saying, what role are these galactic beings playing? Is it a coordinated form of assistance? Most definitely, yes. So Joe, what's been going on is, I don't want to go too much into this story because I've said it several times, but I'll just touch on it. The beginnings of humanity started off with a humanoid form that was already here on the planet. But what also ended up happening here on good old planet Earth was within the universe, there was a lot of unrest at a particular time, millions of years ago. And within that unrest, there were many leaders of the different cultures of different planetary civilizations that wanted to bring harmony to these different races. Now, what ended up happening was, cut a long story short, is these different leaders of these different cultures ended up talking to elders that were in a very powerful role within the universe, and they asked them, "What can we do?" So, what they decided was to pick a planet that could sustain life, bring a number of each one of these civilizations to live together on that planet, and basically, like a bunch of kids that are just out of control, just leave them to it and make them work it out. So that's what's happened. It was always to be, and they knew this, it was always to be a long-term plan, this experience. And so what we are is a combination of many different extraterrestrial races that were placed here millions of years ago, mixed in together into a big cooking pot with that humanoid form that was already here. And we are basically a combination of that. But what's happening with that DNA now, just linking it into that story I was saying earlier on, is that the extraterrestrial races that came to the Earth in the first place were of a higher vibrational nature. They came here to Earth after a few generations of mixing and blending with other races. The vibration of their DNA began to become lower because of the Earth's lower vibration. And so a lot of the DNA then started to become dormant. And as time went on, this kept happening until it got down to a level of DNA that was comfortable of being active within the vibration of our planet. So that's all very good. So we were carrying a lot of what scientists called rubbish DNA, which definitely wasn't rubbish DNA. It was just dormant DNA. And then what's happening now is a complete reverse of that. So with this raising in frequency, it's actually activating that dormant DNA. And now our energy system is changing, and let's say it's adapting to this DNA becoming active, and our glands are taking on a new role of integrating this DNA and bringing balance, because that's what the glands do. They're there to bring homeostasis within the body. And that's exactly what's happening now. So what these beings are that have been watching over us, which is Joe's question, they've been watching us all this time. So generation after generation after generation, for millions of years, they've been watching and observing us, how we grow and how we get along or don't get along, and giving feedback to these other cultures, and where these cultures were sourced from originally, and so the interest is incredibly strong now in what's going on, because as this DNA is waking up in us, then we're actually starting to reconnect with our family. And this is where the agenda of these galactic beings who have been observing us and have had to keep to a certain, I guess, quiet observation of us. They'd no longer have to stay silent as they have been. They're allowed to interact with us more as our vibration raises, as our frequency rises. This is an ongoing developing agenda, and the ultimate, obviously, is physical interaction and physical connection between them. And so this is what's happening. It's already starting. So the assistance that they're giving us is far more than most people realize. They give me a lot of help and guidance with people that come in to see me, giving advice on what their abilities are and what they're capable of doing, and what they should be looking at within their bodies to get more out of themselves. So it's amazing what's happening, and it's not just me that they're giving this information to. It's to other people like me that can see them or hear them. So Emma Oliver, when connecting with beings, are there characteristics that we can identify when connecting to confirm if they are helping us or if they are here for their own gain? All right, so this is where we need to retrain ourselves. So because of the way we're brought up, most people are brought up, we're brought up to not trust our feelings. We're brought up to this programming that we come through with about don't rock the boat, keep the peace. You've got to be nice to these people. You got to be nice to those people. You can't dislike people. Excuse my French, but it's a load of crap, because one thing that actually teaches us to do is not to trust our feelings. So what this is about is learning to trust our feelings. So spiritual growth is necessary now for us to be able to interact with these different beings out there, because we need to be able to learn how to trust our feelings so that we can do exactly that, sort out within ourselves whether they're of a negative nature or a positive nature. And look, I can say definitely that that's changing a lot, that there's a lot more positive ones out there than negative, but it's still not to say that there aren't some negative ones still around. So if you get a bad feeling about something, then disconnect from it, make sure you don't go there. But sometimes we can have a little fear when we get an awareness of certain beings there, because someone asked, I don't think I completely answered someone's question a little while ago about, are they going to show themselves as they really are in all their glory? Well, look, I've certainly seen some, on an energetic level that would scare the living pants off majority of people. But I know through feeling them, feeling their energy, that they're here for our help. And why wouldn't there be different types of beings out there, different shapes and sizes? There's no reason why. We just have to learn to be able to be okay with that. But the problem is we're also taught to judge everyone. Religion has helped with that. The differences between cultures has helped with that. We have to learn to get along with ourselves first before they're actually going to start interacting with us en masse. So we need to do some work first. We can't expect them to do everything for us. We need to be learning to be able to interact with all kinds of races, all kinds of different people, and not let ourselves be pulled into the fear tactics of the media and politics and all of that. So, okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. But it is important that we learn to get along with ourselves first. So So Joe's asking, maybe talking about the people being medicated. Okay. So I don't quite know what that was referring to, but yeah, it's look at people that are being medicated are generally being medicated for stuff that psychiatrists just don't understand anyway. So we've got Fiona Moonbeam. She's saying, yes, Mount Crawford, here we come. Excellent. Yep, I'm for it. So Janet's got another question. I quite often feel an unexplained sharp pinprick on various parts of my body. Would that be a form of contact or placing an energy ball in my body to check up on me? Not sure. I haven't heard that one before. Sometimes what can be going on is I'm noticing this more and more, that because of this raising in frequency, pardon me, in the past, when we've had trauma, what happens to our electrical system and our meridian system is blockages occur within the meridian lines through our body. Now, what is happening, I've noticed, is that with this raising in frequency, it's actually helping to open up those meridian lines as people face their baggage more. And when a meridian line goes from a blocked state to an unblocked state, it's like energy is all of a sudden, after years of that meridian line being shut down, energy is able to shoot through there. And in that second, when that meridian line opens up, people feel a short burst of pain. But you're saying it's in a pinprick. Well, it could well be. It could well be that you're just being checked up on. But I haven't heard that one before. So if your energy was here in my room, I could probably tell because there's residue left by certain things. Maybe if you want to, book in for half an hour appointment or something where I can check out your energy to see if there's anything there to be concerned about. So Troy's asking, with the over medicating you were talking about by doctors, etc., not understanding what kids and young people were seeing. Yeah, happens all the time. So Donna's saying, damn, I'm forging that weekend. There'll always be more. Patricia Brown saying, I hope this Kontiki tour doesn't have the age limitations. Well, it's not that far to walk, but it is a little bit of a walk. So you do need to be able to walk half a K or so, maybe a kilometre. But it's not that far. But I can take you further if you're feeling up to it. I can take you out further into the forest. Spiritual awakening. Daniel's asking, through various healing sessions I have been doing over the past 12 months, I've been shown various areas equivalent to our healing rooms and have been shown how they use their energy for healing. Yep. Are they, or will they be showing us as a collective on how we are to use their techniques to do our healing sessions? I'm sure they'll look. One of the first, with peaceful interactions between cultures, one of the most common things that occurs is a sharing of knowledge and information, and quite often there'll be beings maybe left here to interact with humans, and humans are then taken away to craft, to spend time maybe on other worlds. This is where it's all heading for, down the track. Don't know how soon that one will come. We have to get through physical connection first. So, but we will be. But we're already being taught techniques in how to do energy work anyway. I know I've been taught a few different things over the years, and I'm pretty sure you have too, Daniel, after some of our conversations. So if you're open and you can connect with them, they're already teaching us stuff, and they're already showing us different ways of even interdimensional use. So creating porthole technology through the mind is something that we're very capable of. So Fiona's asking, can we create anything in our environments that would give galactic beings an indication that we wish to welcome them? We don't have to, because they can read our energy. So, if you forget about galactic beings for a minute, when you think about your normal interactions with humans, when you see a human, unless you can see an aura, you just see the face of that person and you're led to believe whatever that person says. Sometimes people wear a mask and they don't tell you the whole truth. In fact, most people don't. But what happens is, with most galactic beings who have a raised frequency, they're capable and very, very capable of seeing our aura. Now, you can't lie. The aura doesn't lie. So within the aura, it shows whether, number one, we're capable of hearing or seeing them on an energetic level. Also, whether we carry fear within us that would maybe not be a good first interaction. So really what we need to be doing to actually present ourselves to be open is to make sure that we're working on ourselves, that we're looking to clear all of our baggage, because it's our baggage that makes us reactive. And if we can clear out our personal emotional baggage, then that makes us a much more open and willing participant for physical interactions with a galactic being. And that's the truth, because I'm actually being told that one right now. So Phoenix is saying, I'm in. Is there a specific time in mind? Oh, look, we'll work on that one. We're it's just the beginning. So if you send me your phone number, if you message me, I'll pick out the people. I'll just pick the first, I don't know, 15, maybe 20 at the max, and then I'll give you details. Okay, Doogie. So we have always been a science experiment of some kind or another. Yeah, we have. And it's not just a science experiment. It's actually an experiment of how to bring balance long term. So what we're carrying within us on a DNA, on an energetic level, is all of the differences between all of these different races. That's what we carry within us. How it's playing out physically on the planet is all of these different religions that are on the planet are basically stem from different ways of thinking. And so these different religions are quite often, and different governments, different nations, are the differences between a lot of the galactic races that were here put on the planet in the first place. So they can't even work that out yet. Well, I mean, it's happening slowly, but the governments and the what gets in the way of this whole process is the manipulation that's going on at a very high level that wants there to be chaos on this planet continually. Because when there's chaos, when people are easily controlled, then we are slaves. Now, while we're slaves, we're not going to be able to get anywhere. But of course, what is happening, which has taken this almost out of our hands, is this raising in frequency that's going on is breaking down these systems that have been controlling us anyway. So this isn't going to be a quick process. this is happening over a period of time. But I would say that even within 5 years, if not sooner, you're going to notice huge changes going on in the political field, in the banking systems, and in any of the power systems on the planet. So, and it will be breaking down into something much better quality. But of course, we're in the chaos of it all at the moment. And there's an old saying, to find clarity, you need to go through the chaos. Well, we're going through the chaos at the moment. Now, the other thing I was going to say around the differences between cultures is not only are those differences between cultures and between races, between religions, but it's also internally. So all of that conflict that we can sometimes have internally is representative of the differences between the cultures that originated on this planet. So when you can work out your differences with yourself and how to find more peace and how to find more balance, then the science experiment that we have been a part of, and it's more of a social experiment, to be honest. It's not so much a science. The science is coming into it now very much, but it's more of a social experiment. Emma's saying, I have trust issues. Don't we all? So what do you mean by that, Emma? That you have trust issues around what? Is this around extraterrestrial beings? Just share. Let me know if that's what you meant. Jackie Sullivan would love a message from loved ones. Look, we're not doing that tonight, my dear. This is a completely different talk, sorry to say. Dale Harper, is this galactic DNA the missing link in human evolution? Most definitely it is. Yes, 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 yes. One of the hilarious things I saw probably about 35 years ago. So I've been doing this work for 31 years. And I remember, now I didn't have what I would classify as a conscious spiritual bone in my body when I saw this show. But it was a show it was an 8-week show and on TV, and it was about the physical body. And this one I saw, and was the only one I saw of it all, was on one night, and it was about the DNA. Now, we had this expert, this scientist, who was describing what our DNA is. And he used an animated version of a 3-door filing cabinet to prove the point. So what he did, he pulled out this bottom file drawer, which was, because it was animated, he could pull it out 30, 40 meters. Now, this drawer was full of files. He pulled out 12 files right at the front, and he said, this is human DNA, the 12-strand DNA. And I'm thinking to myself, like I said, I didn't know anything. I was a furniture maker. So I'm thinking, well, what's the rest? And he called the rest rubbish DNA. Now, many years after, when I'm doing a lot of channeling with a particular group of extraterrestrial beings, I asked the question, what is this DNA? And they said, well, this is what's beginning to wake up in people. And then I thought, okay. And then one thing led to another, and then these changes started happening, this raising in frequency. And so, yeah, it's just been an amazing chain of events that's been going on. All right. So Janine's saying, my partner gets that pinprick also. He says it feels like someone has just jabbed him with a needle. Yeah, look, maybe there's something to it. I just haven't heard that from anyone yet. So it's quite possible. Looking through questions. Emma, I have booked to attend the excursion. Can't wait. Good on you, Emma. Christina's asking or saying, a few years ago I took a photo of two moving orange lights while at home, trying to find it, which I posted on Facebook. Good luck. I'd love to see it if you do. Daniel saying, can't wait for the tour through Mount Crawford. The energy level through that area is amazing. And look, just to give you a bit of insight into why there's so much going on in Mount Crawford Forest, I've been told through certain official levels that there is so much crystalline energy through Mount Crawford Forest, it's not funny. And that is a very strong attraction for porthole technology and for galactic beings, because it means the frequency in the forest is quite high. Could we be alien hybrids and not know it? Well, yes, we are. And we're definitely alien hybrids because we're a mixture of many different species. That's what all of that extra DNA that's been dormant is. So what's happening with this raising of frequency, bit by bit, that DNA is starting to wake up. So what's going to happen down the track is going to be really interesting. Already, what we're capable of is immense things. Just with 10, 11 years of that DNA, of that frequency raising and DNA becoming active. And we're only scratching the surface. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. I can't wait. And to have already seen, let's say, at least two different extraterrestrial beings, galactic beings, physically with my eyes, it's been